Hey everyone, this is Ed here with a new segment that I'm calling Comic Relief. So each week, or maybe bi-weekly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at an aspect in comics, whether it be looking at a particular series, focusing on a specific character, or even things like ranking superhero movies, or certain kind of characters, costumes, anything like that. So this week I wanted to start out with something that was kind of near and dear to my heart for the first episode. You see him in the back. No, it's not Captain America. It's this guy. It's Deadpool. Well, one half. The other half is Spider-Man. I'm going to be talking about the Spidey Deadpool, a series that's debuted, I believe it was May or June of 2016. It's on its 26th issue, going on 27th, coming out soon. Great series. I want to talk about some highlights, some things that I like, and some things not so big a fan of. So the first thing I definitely want to talk about is the fact that this series is fun. Like, it is probably one of the best team-ups I've seen in a long time. Just so entertaining that you're going to enjoy it. It's one of those that a lot of people have heard about, but there's also a lot of people that have not heard about it, whether you don't read comics a lot or you're just focused on some of the more main, line stream, stories like, main arcs or things like that. But this one is just one that I have been reading since like issue 1 and just absolutely love it. Why? The dialogue is just fantastic. The stories are great. Specifically, the one that I enjoyed the most was I can't think of it now. Itsy Bitsy. And so that goes on for like a good almost 10 issues or so or more. And it's a really good story that definitely connects to the characters of Spidey and Deadpool together. Both of them kind of do this role reversal in a way. Parker starts to basically become more like Deadpool. Not to give too much away, but his character changes, and so the character of Itsy Bitsy has a little bit of both. Like, she kind of is a foil character for both of them, so it's kind of interesting how it plays out in the story. I'm not going to try to give like any spoilers away in this because I want you to read it, so I'm not going to like give you anything that kind of shies you away. So I'm just going to tell you some things that I really enjoyed about it. Additionally, this is one of those series that you don't have to have a lot of the background stuff for. Like, you don't have to read tons and tons of issues just to get to this. If you have a basic understanding of Spider-Man and Deadpool, you'll definitely you'll understand this. You'll get it right away. So that's good. Another thing is, like, there's a couple things you definitely want to know going in. One thing is that at the particular moment when this was written, Deadpool is married to a demon, and it's Shikla, and she has a lot of background history with Deadpool. They have just a really bizarre relationship between the two of them. So that's one thing you definitely need to know. The other is that at the time, Parker still owns and is CEO of Parker Industries, which came about in the relaunch in 2014 of Amazing Spider-Man #1, and then even before that it started there with the Superior Spider-Man storyline. So that is definitely one of those things that, if you haven't picked a comic for years and you haven't read Spider-Man in a while, that might throw you off a little bit. But for the most part, it won't be anything, that completely is one of those huge, drops in a storyline kind of things. It's really good. So definitely, keep that in mind. There are some, if you love this series, there are some other comics you definitely want to check out. The one I just mentioned earlier is Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man #1 from 2014 when they relaunched it. Now, since then, I believe the number has changed because Legacy has changed the numbering, and I'm not quite sure what the numbering on that is. off the top of my head, but just keep that in mind. But if you basically search for Amazing Spider-Man #1 2014, it'll still pop up. You'll be able to find it that way. But just kind of keep that in mind. So that's definitely one to check out. The other one is any of the Dugan stuff for Deadpool. Specifically this one here. We got Dead Presidents. That's a good one to start with. I'm told it's really good. I'm actually currently on that. I've read a lot of Joe Kelly stuff. Joe Kelly was basically a little bit before. And he's the one that kind of starts off the Spidey Deadpool series as one of the main writers, kind of ushering in the series. And then they went to Corrin and a few other writers like Thompson later on. So the series has had multiple writers, but for the most part, up to issue 23 or so, they maintain a consistency in tone and characterization. All of that is really good. Now, one thing I don't like is issues 23 to 25. Now, I haven't read 26 yet. Currently on that. That starts the Oldies Part 1 storyline. What I can gather, it's actually, I think, a little similar to 23, and that's the arms race story. They changed the writers and some of the tone changes, which really kind of bummed me out because the great thing about issues 22, from 1 to 22, was that it was lighthearted and it was fun, but it had a really cool story too, which I really dug. And then it got into some just more serious tones for the series, which was just like, okay, we're going to do kind of a 180 on this. And that kind of irked me a little bit. But I don't think it's enough to completely swear off the series. Give it a try. You always want to be critical, and I'm one of those people that, I still find the good in things, whether I might, dislike it at points. I don't completely hate it. So there's definitely that to keep in mind. So definitely check out this series. Along with that, last thing I'm going to say, a couple other series. I've talked about Jughead the Hunger before, so I'm kind of like a horror fan when it comes to things like that. And Deadpool's no exception. So if you like Jughead the Hunger and you love everything I said about Deadpool, you definitely want to check out Night of the Living Deadpool, and this one here, which is the sequel, Return of the Living Deadpool. It's a great 4-issue, I'm trying to think, like 4-issue series. Both of them are 4 or 5. So the great thing is like 8 issues total, and it's in the same kind of style again as Jughead and Night of the Living Dead, really. So it's fun. It's got a darker tone. It's serious at times, but it's still Deadpool, and it's still funny, and he makes a lot of mistakes, and he's crazy, and I love him. So that is this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for other Comic Relief episodes. I'll be looking at a variety of things, and on Twitter, please let me know any other topics you want me to cover. I think next time I'm actually going to do, since kind of we're propelling off of Spidey Deadpool a little bit, I'm going to continue on this frame of thought a little bit and do a ranking of all the Spider-Man movies and kind of talk about them a little bit, going into ones I really like and other ones that I'm not such a big fan of. So that'll be a little sneak peek for next time. Enjoy. See ya.